Welcome to Spotlight Interview. I'm George Jakovic with the champs, Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi. Look who we have in the spotlight. We have got the trainer of the year for 2023. We have Brian Bomac McIntyre. Thank you for taking some time to talk to us today. Bomac, you have had a great year. I mean, and it's not only Terence Crawford who dominated Errol Spence. You did tremendous work with Chris Eubank in his rematch victory. It's been some kind of year for you. Talk about it and the fact that in I think everyone's mind in boxing, you're the trainer of the year.
Well, man, I look at it like this. Just it's all work to me. I just go by day and just try to tackle the task that's in front of me, and just keep my head down and just keep grinding. And then at the end of the year, just try to look up at the accolades, or if there may be some. So that's how I look at it. The individual fights and the individual fighters, I'm happy for them. They all getting their flowers, but to me, it's work. It's something that I like the challenge.
Chris, we got Bomac in the house.
That's not just words, because you come down here. You've driven down here a few times. You brought guys down to spar down here in Plant City. You've had a Kelvin fight on our air a few times. So you're not just saying those words. It's true. You do care about the guys that you have and that are even at the lower end of your stable, and it shows because it goes all the way to the top. That's really just me telling everybody else out there who doesn't get to see it firsthand like we do.
Appreciate it, man.
Bo, I guess we'll start it with the fight that made all the headlines this year is Terence and Errol. I remember a couple of years back where you were telling me, man, when we get Errol, you're going to see, Paulie, you're going to see, what I'm talking about, Were you surprised it was that easy, though? I mean, were you, was it, because you made it look easy. I mean, it was like, I was figuring I was telling myself, like, both Bo and Terence told me it would be easy when they finally got him. And I was thinking Errol might be too big for Terence, having been a ex-lightweight world champion, ex-super lightweight world champion. But it was, I couldn't have been more wrong. Was it surprising that it was that easy, or was that just off the basis of your confidence? You guys had seen something?
No, I'm not surprised at all, because the fact that I've been watching him since he was an amateur, and he still fight the same from back then to now. So when he actually became on our radar after accomplishing 140, I started studying him a little bit more, and he did exactly what I thought he was going to do: lunge in, go wide in his guard. You slap him with his hands, slap him with the left hand. He did exactly what what we worked on to try to counter it. So first round probably went to Spence because he backed Bud up just a little bit and caught him in that corner. But then after he got his range and then he started timing him, it was just like a home run hit. So after he dropped him that second round, it was just a matter of time, because he would have stopped him if he had a little bit more time, because when Spence got up, he was wobbly, and towards the end, Bud applied that pressure. If he had another minute, they would have stopped him. So I wasn't surprised at all.
Yeah, something that really surprised me with that night was, once he did drop him in that second round, I was like, oh, the fight's over. Because if your game plan is that you're bulletproof and you're bigger and you're going to walk a guy down and he hurts you, well, your game plan's out the window. And Spence had no second gear.
Especially with a jab.
Yeah, with a jab. And so that was going to be my next point. Talking about that jab, that southpaw jab. I'd never seen Terence's southpaw jab be that damaging in that fight. Was that something you guys saw and worked on, or was that something that Bud found right away?
No, so my thing was that was my whole thing in camp, was to take away his jab. Because what Spence does is he'll line you up with a good jab, and then he'll touch you with the second jab and try to bring his feet in order to try to dig to the body. And so in order to take away his jab, you got to out jab him and beat him to the punch. and we worked on that jab day in and day out, day in and day out, round after round, round after round. We worked on the southpaw, we worked on the orthodox. So we knew what we had to do. Once we established that jab and established that distance, it was just a matter of time of how close we was gonna get to him. But then when I seen his speed on his jab, I was like, oh, if y'all can hear me in the corner, I was like, any chance you get to come over the top of that slow ass jab, because Bud was faster. He had more speed than Spence.
Talking to Brian, Bomack McIntyre, real quick, Paulie, since you brought up Terence Crawford, Bomack, everyone wants to know what's next, because we're hearing they're gonna have the rematch with Spence. Then we're hearing him against Canelo. People are throwing Devin Haney's name with Terence. So do you have any information what's next for Terence? I'm assuming it's the rematch with Spence.
Well, I only seen Bud a couple times since, after the fight. He's been, traveling the world, and I've been busy, and so we haven't been able to have no time together. But, we text and talk all the time. And I try not to talk about boxing until he brings it to me. I want him to get his break. Get your break, get away from boxing, and take the time to think about what you're gonna do next. So I'll get home tomorrow. I'll see him in the gym tomorrow night, and we'll have the holiday season to spend together and talk about boxing.
I want to get back on the jab you were talking about, Bo, because it was fascinating to talk about. First of all, is Terence a natural right-hander or a natural left-hander? Because at this point, he fights so well out of both stances. You can't really tell.
I think he naturally he started off boxing right-handed. Then I think his hand got hurt, and so
that is that one of the reasons that jab was so heavy? Is that is his natural dominant hand, right?
Pretty much, I think so.
Yeah.
But that jab on that left jab that's pretty dangerous too. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, no, I mean he's great out of both stances to the point where you can't tell, what really is his natural stance. I mean, I would say even in his backup stance, he's better than most even world-class fighters in their main stance,
Exactly.
So Bomac, you've got a fighter fighting in our Wednesday Night Fight series on ProBox TV, and this isn't the first time you've been to Plant City for fights, but you've been on the highest stages in boxing in some of the biggest fights in the sport. To have fights like the platform like ProBox TV, how important is that to the fighters that are coming up?
I think ProBox, man, is the series is fucking good as shit, dude. I fucking love it down here.
That's an honest answer.
Yeah, I love it down here. I love coming down here. I don't mind driving down here and shit when the opportunity presents itself, because of the fact that, I call it the chitlin circuit.
Especially in the winter.
The club shows, the driving, the stop and stand. If you got to do 22 hours, you go drive 11 hours, then you spend a night somewhere, then you get back up, and then you go drive the last 11 hours. It's good for the fighters to see coaches like myself and other coaches, the up and coming coaches that's in the gym that's looking for a spot on the team, to make those trips, to make those kind of commitments to the fighter. And not only is the fighter, you make a commitment to yourself, because you figure like this: if I'm gonna go and take this 22-hour drive and stay down there in hot ass fucking Florida and let these guys look at my kid that I'm trying to push and move, you know what I'm saying? That should inspire them. That just inspire them, man. We doing this shit together, dog. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna win, I'm gonna win. If I'm gonna win, you gonna win. You know what I'm saying? Because if one lose, we both gonna lose. So I like the the chitlin circus. I like the small club shows. I love it because of the simple fact it make fighters grow, and it keep guys like my assistant trainers, Red Spikes and Saul Dieguez, Bernie the boxer, keep them honest. Because hey, listen, we ain't gonna have the pound for pound best fighter in the world all the time. You know what I'm saying? He got a few fights left. He got a couple years left. So in order for you to continue to be successful, you got to get to grinding. You got to do those trips, man. You got to accept those chitlin circuit fights and all that. You got to do that in order to get to that next level. And the most important part is we got the blueprint already. We know what it takes to make a great fighter. So you can't change nothing. You can't change anything about it. You can't bypass it. If you bypass it and you get to the top and you've been handed everything, you're gonna turn around and get your ass handed to you. So if you don't do the groundwork and the traveling and all the things that's necessary to get to that level, you're only gonna be successful for a limited time.
Bo, and you can't do that without passion and enthusiasm. I always use those two words for fighters, but it applies here as a trainer as well. You got to love that. I mean, you can't, otherwise the work just feels like it's too much. And I mean, a part of that grind is something that you love. I mean, yeah, it's work to drive 11 hours today and 11 hours tomorrow and then say, but there's a camaraderie you're building. You're building a product as far as these fighters are concerned. You're building them as products. You're building them as little by little. You're growing the camaraderie within the team as well as their skills and their talent and their experience. And it's something that you love to see. You love. It's kind of like you plant something and then it starts to blossom and it starts to grow. And at the end, you get your vegetables or you get your fruit, or if it's a flower, you get that blossoming flower. It's something that you can, when I hear you talk about it, it's something that you enjoying the process. Not a lot of people sometimes get to enjoy the process because they're so focused on the end goal. But it seems like you have the end goal, which is Terence Crawford, right? But you also don't forget about the process to keep building the next Terence Crawford, and that is your passion. Because not everybody has to do it that way. The fact that you do it that way, you get in there, man, and you do it. You're not too big for your bridges. You're not saying, I train the best pound for pound fighter in the world. I don't have to do this these kind of rides anymore. I could cut that out. That's something your young fighters look at, and it makes them appreciate you as a fighter, and your appreciation for the sport and your appreciation for the fighters. It's kind of a great marriage, man. It was really something I'm observing, and the way I was hearing you talk about that, your enthusiasm kind of comes out of your pores when you're talking about it.
I appreciate it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's
not everybody does that, man. You know what I mean?
It's in the blood, brother.
Yeah,
it's in the blood. Not
everybody does that.
I wouldn't change it, and I wouldn't change it for nothing.
Bomac, you epitomize that saying. Keep your nose down and grind until everyone's below you, till you're on top of the mountain. And that's the way that you've kind of brought this up. Speaking of one of those guys that you're coming up with, we got Kelvin Davis, who's fighting on our air tonight. Now, he's been here a few times before. This is a different kind of fight, though. He's now co-main event. He's taking a big step up fight against a guy who's been in with a lot of top prospects. He's been in with a couple former world champions. Talk a little bit about Kelvin, his preparations, and what you expect tonight against the toughest foe on paper to date.
Well, man, it's great to see Kelvin just get be in the position that he in, because he just not too long ago just fought, was like a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. It's good because he can stay busy. And by him being on a ProBox co-main event is a blessing to him, because he don't get a lot of shine when it comes to Top Rank, because originally he is signed with Top Rank, but when he get put on those cards, he get buried underneath the cards, and a lot of guys don't say nothing about him unless his brother fighting, Keyshawn fighting. Then they'll mention Kelvin. But for Kelvin to be in this position now, and the co-main event, I could see the livelihood coming in him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's being talked about. He's being the co-main event, and everything. This is funny. Everything that I was telling him from the time that he's been with me up until now is coming to fruition, because I was telling him before, I said, listen, I wouldn't give a crying corn's ass where they put you at. You don't have the skills as your brother got. Your brother is a silver medalist. He didn't fought fighters from all over the world. Silver medal in the Olympics, it speaks a lot for itself. You know what I'm saying? You got to grind a little bit harder because your skills are not that developed yet. And here on the Chitlin circuit, we can be able to develop his skills. You know what I'm saying? And still get the pay that you're going to get if you fighting somewhere like a Madison Square Garden or under Shakur's undercard or something like that. with ProBox, you can be the co-main event. You be in a small environment. You ain't got to fight over 5,000-6,000 fans. You still get the same ink. You still get the same paycheck, but at the same time, you're still developing your skills. Before they put somebody in there that really is going to push you, because they will at some point put somebody in there that will push you, because they ain't going to be giving out free checks like that. You know what I'm saying? So give us this time now. Take this time now and develop not only your skills, but your confidence in yourself. Now, I can see the difference. I can see the difference, the way he walked, the way he talked, the way he talk about himself, maybe the way he does his money love himself. It ain't no more going in the store and we going grocery shopping and I'm paying for everything, $200-300 for the groceries for the week. Coach, you need $100 here and there, you know what I'm saying? So I see it. You know what I'm saying? I see it. I see he giving back. I see the appreciation. You know what I'm saying? And just by being there with him from day one to camp for 5 or 6 weeks till the time he step in the ring, he see the passion that I have, and I can see him grow. And me just talking shit like always, giving him that confidence that he have in himself as he move forward. That this is where he's supposed to be at.
Coach, talk about the atmosphere in your gym, because it's obvious you love what you do. Terence loves what he does. And Terence is the best fighter in the world, and you're the best trainer in the world, among the best trainers in the world. How does that affect the atmosphere in the gym with all the young fighters when they see you guys as examples?
Well, just with everybody in the gym, because everybody wants to be a Terence Crawford, so when guys come through the gym or little young amateur fighters around the gym, see me and Bud working with the other coaches, maybe Saul or Red or Bernie or even Lucas. We got another coach in there named Lucas, really great with the mitts. You'll see him. He got his son coming out. His name is Lucas. What was Lucas' last name? Pereira. Lucas Pereira. Really good with the mitts. And the young fighters, the 4-0, the 6-0, the 8-0, the 10-0, the 12-0, they see Bud in the gym working, grinding, and they see Keyshawn in the gym working and grinding. They see Shakur coming in and visiting and working with Bud, and to see Kelvin in there. Kelvin just got ranked in, I think it's by the WBA I think it's WBA. So they see that and they see the process. And which is good for us as trainers, because when they see guys working in the gym hard and grinding, they know they got to put the work in too, And I treat all fighters the same. Shit, unless your name is Terence Crawford and you pay me $2-3 million a year, you know what I'm saying? But I treat all fighters the same. I talk shit to them and I'm gonna train them the same way. All fighters ain't the same, but I'm gonna train them to take that training mentality and train each fighter that way so I can get the best out of them.
Bo, I want to go back to Kelvin. It's not just for him too. A channel like ProBox couldn't exist without fighters like Kelvin. Without fighters that like Kelvin, a prospect that's willing to test himself. Below the radar of the big cameras. But on the level of these kind of shows where it's a growing channel, made for both up and coming fighters as well as fighters who are on the cusp of getting to that world-class level. You need this circuit from fighters like Kelvin, but we wouldn't have this kind of platform without fighters like Kelvin willing to test themselves at a higher level than maybe some other prospects want to just pad their record. So, it goes both ways, Bo, and we really appreciate having fighters like Kelvin on the network.
Yeah. I mean, and we need more. We need more channels like this, dog. I wouldn't give a damn what nobody say. We need more channels like this. We need guys like y'all to take time out y'all busy day and chime in and talk to the fighters, the trainers, and give some of those up and coming fighters their flowers. Give them time to shine a little bit, And the best thing about it, I liked about this, it's on a Wednesday. It's in the middle of the week. I know it fucks up on the travel and then weighing in. That's kind of like off a little bit, but once you get past that, you're all right. The Wednesday is perfect because everybody waiting for the weekend to come to see some fights. Man, shit, man, let's see Wednesday night fights. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what's going on in the middle of the week.
And the reason we do that is so we don't compete with the championship shows. We don't want to overrun with the when we're competing against the championship shows, because we know on the weekends people want to watch the championship shows. So we give you like the appetizer during the week, prospect fights and good fighters and great fights type of matchups where these guys are right on the cusp of getting to that next level. And like we said, we like to match them up against each other. We don't put the prospects in easy here, and we don't put the contenders in easy here, because we want these guys to be able to earn their shot at the highest level if they get there, like Kelvin's goal is, but also we want to entertain the fans with good matchups.
Yeah. It's good, man. It's good. It's great, man. I love it and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get a job down here. Like when I slow down, maybe work in the kitchen or something, because food needs to be a little bit better. But you know what I'm saying? I'll talk to the chef a little bit.
We need some teachers for the chefs there.
Hey, Bomac, we're gonna wrap this up soon. We're talking to Bomack McIntyre. I did want to ask you about Chris Eubank. For people
George,
who don't
you took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say I got one more question.
Yeah, for people that don't know, I mean, he was masterful in that rematch with Liam Smith. Can you talk about that a little bit? And I'm assuming you're still working with Chris, correct?
Yeah. We were just working with Chris before we came here. We just linked back up after the fight. But the update on Chris is he's just waiting for things to kind of get lined up the right way. Let's just put it like that. Y'all ex-fighters, y'all know what I mean when motherfucker puts a contract in front of your face and all the words ain't right. Yeah, and enough zeros on the end. So I think that might be it, but he's staying sharp. He's staying in the gym. We steadily talk every other day. And the times when I was just in Vegas last week, the last couple months, he worked out damn near every day. So he just stands sharp and he's ready to go. And as far as that fight goes, after just looking at how he got beat the last time and to going into the next fight, it was just all about crossing your T's and dotting your I's, man. Which I always call it is one-on-one boxing, the things that you learn when you're little. Just got to get back to the basics and just watch what you're doing in there. And he just needs to be reminded of that, Why would you step back with your hand down? Why would you sit on the ropes with your hand down, bobbing and weaving, bobbing? You can bob and weave and step at the same time and keep your hands up at the same time. Why would you jab and bring them back down to your nuts and shit? Why would you do that? You're not Roy Jones. You're not fast as Roy Jones. You're not your reach is not as long as Antonio Tarver. So why would you do that? So some of the mistakes he was making, we just went back to the basics. That was it, and just keep reminding him in the corner over and over and over again. That's what all boxing is. Same thing over
Repetition.
and over again. Yeah. And then you'll learn. More fights you fight, the more a fighter will learn what to do and what not to do. You just get complacent when you start winning and you keep doing the same shit until you run in there with somebody going to hit you in your mouth and put you in your pockets.
The fundamentals work at the bottom all the way to the top. And that's that's what we've been saying pretty much this entire interview with you, Bomac. You work from the bottom all the way up. You keep your nose down, you grind. It's good stuff. Yeah. Everybody at home should listen to that. The fundamentals always work.
Well, it's fight night. Bomac's got to work tonight. So, Chris Paul, you have anything left for Bomac? He's got some work to do.
Yeah. I got a question.
Go ahead, Bo.
This is Chris.
What's up, Bo?
Yeah. You got something for me?
What you want? So you want some chitlin? You have chitlin, sir?
Can I get a percentage of that check? All right, y'all.
Bo, I'm gonna let you go with this one, man. A lot of good trainers have had good years this year, but for me, you are the trainer of the year, in my opinion. For the reason that obviously you got the biggest win of the year with Terence Crawford and the most anticipated fight of the year. It was one-sided. It was a dominant. You also turned around Chris Eubank's career with where people were. I mean, I was in England, bro. I mean, people were wondering if this was his career on the line already after that Liam Smith loss.
Oh, that's right, you was there. Well, that's right, we did come.
Yeah, and it was a masterful performance from Eubank as well, dominant, coming back and reversing the result of the first fight in such dominant fashion. So again, that's another feather in your hat for this year. And then, like the things you were just saying now, you know, the fact that you still, you know, take these rides from Nebraska, putting your heart, passion, and soul into boxing, into your prospects, into your young fighters, and of course having a fighter like Kelvin Davis who fights here on ProBox TV and continues to impress, man. A terrific year, and glad to see you getting the flowers you deserve. And I hope they give them to you this year with that Trainer of the Year award, because that is something I feel you deserve.
Listen, brothers, the last thing I'm gonna say, thank you. I appreciate it. It ain't about me. It's about the fighters. You know what I'm saying? And if it wasn't for the fighters, it wouldn't be the accolades that you're talking about. So I do understand that. And that's why I put my head down and grind so hard so the fighters can be able to provide and get to where they need to get. You know, thank you. I appreciate the flowers. I appreciate the compliments and everything. I ain't in it for the accolades. I'm in it to make guys' lives better. Somebody did it for me, and I'm gonna do it for somebody else.
Don't ever change, Bo.
Listen, that's clear. You made that clear, but it's up to people like us to let everyone know what you do, because we know why you do it, and we're just letting everyone know that you're one of the best to do it. So just want to wish you happy holidays, Bomac. Enjoy Christmas, enjoy the new year. We can't wait to see what 2024 brings. And Bomac, we got to have you back soon.
No problem. Anytime.
All right. Well, listen, make sure you download the app, because look at your screen. Stay on this screen. You got Bomac. You got the best trainer in the sport. You got Chris Eubank. You got Paulie Malignaggi talking boxing every day. Get ProBox TV. Download the app. Remember, ProBox TV is your boxing channel.